I have been obsessed with Daisy Jones and the Six on Amazon Prime. There are so many reasons why it's great, but one of the best things is the outfits. They are fantastic. And I wanted to make a Daisy Jones inspired floaty top, and I'm going to show you how to do it without a pattern in next to no time at all. Right, so I'm going to demonstrate on a piece of tissue paper. This is not to scale at all, but all you need is a flat piece of fabric. It can be any length. I'm using 1.5 meters, which makes a top that hits about hip length. You can go shorter for a crop length, or you can go a bit longer for really long floaty style. Like I said, this isn't to scale. So this is my piece of fabric. The selvages I've demonstrated with just doing some pinking along the edges. So lay your piece of fabric out flat and you're going to fold it raw edge to raw edge, matching up the selvages. Fold it nice and straight. And then you want to find the middle. So you can either use a tape measure or you can fold it in half. So you're going to need a tailor's chalk and a clear quilting ruler, and use your tailor's chalk and just measure from the top all the way down in the middle there. Then you want to measure 3 inches either side of that middle point, and then 10 inches across towards the middle like this. And that, please remember this is not to scale at all. Then you're going to draw a line 10 inches down that way and 10 inches down that way. And that's going to create your neckline later on. We're going to cut along those lines later. Next, you want to measure your sleeves. Now, the length of your sleeves will determine the width around the hip of your garment. I made a practice one a couple of days ago, and I made my sleeves 14 inches long, but I then found that I didn't quite have enough room around my hips. So for this one, I'm going to shorten the sleeves to 8 inches. So I'm going to start by measuring down from the top the width of the sleeves, which I'm going to do 14 inches this way, and then 8 inches, which is the length of your sleeves, that way. Draw a line, draw your 8 inches in there, and then you want to draw a line straight down to the very bottom edge, like so. Going to repeat that on the other side, so I'll just quickly do the other side as well. Again, note, this is not to scale. Absolutely. So you can see we're starting to form the shape of our top now. Take your fabric scissors and you're going to cut along these lines here through both layers of the fabric. So this is based on a kimono inspired style, or you can call it like an open kaftan. Whatever it is, it's very floaty and very comfortable and perfect for wearing in the summer as it starts getting hot. Next, you want to take just the top layer of fabric, leave the bottom layer flat on the table, and you're going to cut along that middle line right up to the neckline. And then cut along those diagonal lines we made earlier, which gives you this triangle, and you're going to cut the triangles away there. You can discard of those, and there you have it. That is your top all cut out and ready to sew. Okay, so the first step is pinning those sleeve and side seams, and we're going to sew it all in one go. So make sure your fabric is right sides together. Take your pins and just put some pins in from the hem edge of the sleeve all the way down to the hem of the garment, and sew in one nice, simple, easy stitch. If you want, you can curve around the corner of your sleeve, or you can put your needle down and pivot. Once you've done that, trim and overlock or finish your seams in whatever way you'd like to do. I'm using this really stunning cotton silk fabric that I picked up at Lady McElroy at the Stitch Festival. As soon as I saw it, I fell in love with it. It's beautiful, and I hadn't even seen Daisy Jones and the Six at the time. So when I watched it, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with this piece of fabric. And I wish I'd bought more. I only bought 1.5 meters, so it's not quite as long and floaty as I would ideally like it to be, but I'm still going to be super happy with it. It's so gorgeous. Okay, next bit is what is going to be the fiddliest part of the whole process. Take your time. Your iron is your best friend. So we're going to hem the neckline edge and down the center front. There are a couple of different ways you can do this, but I'm going to do a double fold hem. So to start with, I'm going to sew a guide stitching line of 2/8 of an inch from the bottom hem all the way up and around the neckline down to the other side of the hem. Once I've sewn that guideline, then I'm going to use it and I'm going to fold and fold again to make a double folded hem. So just fold along the stitching line. The stitching line will become the first folded edge, and then fold it again. It's going to be really fiddly around the neckline where those corners are. Take your time. Really just take your time. Ease it, press it, manipulate the fabric. It might be that it goes a little bit more narrow at those pieces. We're not using a pattern here. We are just kind of winging it. So it's not going to look perfect, but I'm okay with that. Once you have used your iron to press up the hem, we're then going to go and top stitch in place. Now I'm going to be a little bit unconventional here, and I'm going to top stitch from the reverse side of the garment. I know, who is this girl? She's crazy. But I find that quite often if I top stitch on the right side of the fabric, I end up missing pieces that I want to catch in. So especially with this one, because it gets a little bit more narrow at the neckline, if we top stitch on the reverse, we can make sure that we are catching the hem all the way along. So that's what I'm going to do here. Don't come for me. Okay, once you've done that, give the neckline a really good press and steam out any little kinks and wrinkles that have come along. Then we are nearly finished. That's how quick this project is. The last thing is to hem the sleeves and the bottom of the garment. There are a few different ways you can mix it up with this particular garment. If your fabric has a nice selvage, like a bit of a frayed selvage, you could leave the sleeves unhemmed completely, which is what I've done with my practice one in a beautiful yellow viscose. I left the sleeves unhemmed and just used the selvage to give a sort of fringing effect. You could also use the offcuts, stitch them together in a long strip and then gather them in to make a sort of ruffled hem edge as well. That looks really cool. Or you could really go for the sort of festival vibes and add some fringing or a pom-pom trim or something like that. Or if you want to keep it simple, sleek and classy, just do a double folded hem, which is what I'm going to do with this fabric. And because I'm a little bit of a maverick, when I sew, I tend to swap between inches and centimeters. I don't know if anyone else does that. I do. And when it comes to hemming, I prefer to use centimeters. So I'm going to do a double fold hem of 1 centimeter and 1 centimeter again, top stitch in place, give everything a beautiful press, and hey presto, we are done. Ta-da! She is finished and she is beautiful. This fabric feels gorgeous. The only issue is it is hand wash only. Luckily my washing machine does have a hand wash cycle, so I use that instead. But it is really, really floaty and beautiful. It's going to feel so good to wear in the summer when it's really hot. You can use any floaty fabric, a viscose, a crepe, a silk, anything that's got a little bit of drape to it. This will be so good to wear this summer with little tank tops or vest tops underneath, or if you wanted to go full Daisy Jones, you could get a little like crocheted crop toppy number, wear it with shorts, wear it with jeans, wear it with all sorts. I cannot, literally, I'm going to be living in this summer. Yeah, I absolutely love it, and I hope you love it too. If you think you're going to give this project a go, or if you do give this project a go, let me know in the comments below what fabric you're using and what length it is, all sorts of things. I'd love to know if you make it, or tag me on Instagram or on Facebook with it as well. I would love, love, love to see what you make. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you have a great day. If you haven't already, go and watch Daisy Jones. If you haven't already, also subscribe to my channel, and I will be back next week. Bye!